Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 35 of the Drop It Weight Loss Wellness Wisdom Podcast. If it's your first time on the show, welcome. I'm your host, Nick Geoppo, and 5.5 years ago, I lost 110 pounds and have kept it off after an entire lifetime of losing and gaining weight. And I've since dedicated my life to sharing my story and helping other people achieve the same success when it comes to losing weight, keeping the weight off, feeling better in your own body, and living a life where food makes it better instead of making it worse. So if that sounds like something that you want, that you benefit from, then the good news is that you're in the right place. This podcast episode is brought to you by our very own weight loss community, the Drop It Community. Opened 5 weeks ago on July 1st, and it's been so great to be following along with so many of you and working with so many of you that listen to this podcast directly inside of the community as you've been starting the Common Sense Diet and seeing lasting change. Opening up the community forum and working with y'all one-on-one and being in the live calls every week just makes me smile, and it makes me feel like, oh, it's just the best feeling in the world. It makes me feel like I'm living in alignment. I don't even have the words. It just makes me feel like the world is rewarding me by helping people through these things that just fucked with my life for so long and that I just never thought were possible. And it's just so clear to me that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So thank you to all of you who have been supporting me since the very beginning of this journey of podcasting and of content creation. It's been 7 or 8 months now, and to see how much other people resonate with what I've been through. I always thought that I was alone. I always thought that I was the only one because people in person just don't talk about things in this way. So it's been so great connecting with all of you, coaching all of you, working with all of you in the community. And I'm so excited to witness all of you as you continue on this journey. And I'm so excited to speak with each of you individually and as you continue to hit your weight loss goals and actually keep the weight off. So thank you again. And we are all in this together. This podcast episode is going to be a little bit different than previous ones that I've filmed. And then I'm going to be a little more vulnerable in talking to you about and sharing some of the things that I really struggle with today and how losing weight has impacted them. So much of who I was 24 when I was fat as fuck for the last time and lost about 100 or 110 pounds in a year from 2019 to 2020 and have kept it off now almost to 2025. And I was just miserable. Like those of you that have heard my story know this. I was absolutely miserable, and I hated where I lived, and I hated my job, and I just hate negativity, and then just kind of drowned out with a little bit of weed, some booze, lots of Netflix, and just other mindless video games, watching TV, just other things where I would just kind of dissociate from reality. And I was the kind of guy that would get off work, and if someone was like, "What are you doing after work?" I'd go, "I don't know, just whatever's, on TV." And that's just a fucking sad place to be. So many people listening to this are in that place right now, and it's okay that you're there. I totally get it. So many people in Western society, in the United States specifically, are there, and in the entire world. So you're not alone in that, and it just feels like there's so much to overcome, right? It's like for you to change your life, for you to lose weight and keep it off and feel better about yourself, you're going to have to lose weight. That alone is a massive challenge. You're going to have to find a way to keep the weight off. Most of us have lost weight. We haven't kept the weight off. That was my entire life, gaining it back, right? So how the hell are you going to figure that out? Well, I don't know. Maybe I look it up online. Maybe I find someone that's done it and then try to listen to them. But does their story resonate with me? Does that work? Like there's always this like little voice in the back of your head that's like, maybe I can't fucking do it, right? And then after you lose the weight, then you're not making enough money, and then you feel unhappy from not making enough money. So how am I going to make more money? And my relationship with my girlfriend or my boyfriend or my wife or my husband, it isn't very good. And I feel like so how am I going to figure that out? And maybe my kids don't respect me, or I don't have any kids. And that puts pressure on me because I'm in my mid-30s. And should I be? I want to have kids. So should I find someone? How does that now? And it's all of this, like, we place our own happiness on the other side of achieving the thing that we think we should be doing. So when I was fat, I said, look, man, I eventually just got to the point where I was like, you're fat, dude. You're fat. And to myself in the mirror. And that's fine. We got to figure it out right now or we're going to die. So we got to figure it out right now, right? So I did figure it out. And what I did through figuring it out was I wired my brain to place happiness on the other side of achieving. So I said, you're not happy, Nick. You will be happy once you lose weight. So I woke up every day. I said, you're not happy. You're going to be happy after you lose weight. You're not happy. Keep going, man. You're going to feel better after you lose weight, after you lose weight, after you lose weight. Right? So then I lost all of the weight. And, oh my God, did I feel better? Yes, of course, did I feel better? I felt better because of a bunch of different things, right? I didn't wake up with heartburn every night. I wasn't popping Tums like candy. I had clothes that fit. I walked straighter. I stood straighter. I was way more confident. I developed a lot of self-belief. So all of those things made me happier. Of course, 500 times happier than I was. But even in experiencing that happiness, right? So people say all the time, does weight loss make you happy? I can't really answer that question. It can't say it made me happy. It made me happier. But where's the line of what is considered happy, right? And this is what I still struggle with today, is I still place my own joy and my own happiness on the other side of achieving. So this is a look into my own psyche. So I go, I want to move abroad. I would love to go and travel and be full-time working on this podcast and full-time working in the community and full-time working on content, full-time helping people without any other obligations and just go travel the world and do that for 10 years. I would love to do that. And in a way, I will do that. To make myself do that, I find myself going, okay, Nick, you're going to be happy when. You're going to be happy when. And it's not that I'm not happy now. There's happiness all around me, but sometimes it's really hard for me to accept it. And so people ask me if I'm happy. It's really hard to answer the question. I'm happy when I choose to be happy, and I'm happy when I let myself be happy. But what I struggle with the most is I often tell myself that I am not happy, even though it's not true, as a way to get me to continue working into action. Because I'm constantly action-oriented, right? I'm always doing something. I rest, but I'm scheduling my rest. So it's a life of almost complete intentionality, living very, very scheduled. And it's just a part of the reality, right, of working one-on-one with 6 different people. That alone is sometimes a full-time job. With the community, with the podcast, with my own full-time job, it's like, I love what I do. I love what I do. And when I sit back and take a breath, I go, I am fucking happy. And then when I wake up in the morning and I go, I just don't, I'd like to hit snooze. I go, man, you're not happy. You got to get up and you got to earn the happiness, right? It's earn. I got to earn this. I got to prove. I got to prove to the world that I'm worthy. I got to prove to the world that I'm not a fraud. The Instagram page, this is the real look inside of my psychology of productivity and the negative side effects of it, right? That I learned from weight loss. Weight loss isn't always this great thing. It does change the way that you look at the world. It forces you to change who you are. And there's pros and cons to every single mindset. People just don't talk about the cons. There are cons to the way that I lost weight. And if I was to go back and lose weight again, I would do it differently if I had all the knowledge that I have now. Obviously, I don't, so that's not very possible, right? But when I look at wanting to achieve something, my mind goes straight to what happens if I don't achieve it. So when I was losing weight, I said, okay, I want to achieve weight loss. What's going to happen if I don't achieve weight loss? Well, I'm going to die. I thought I was going to die at 24, so surely I would be dead in the next few years with heart issues and blood pressure and, could have got diabetes or whatever, right? And that's the way that my mind was operating. So I operated purely from a place of fear, full fear brain. I got to lose weight because I'm running away from the world where I'm fatter. I got to lose weight because I'm running away. I'm running away. And I just kept doing that over and over and over again. And then at times I would connect with positivity, right? So I'm running away. That's kind of a negative way of looking at things. I'm running away from my problem of obesity. But in running away from my problem of obesity, I'm opening up this whole new world to myself. And this new world is like, now I have access to dating higher quality women that I actually want to date. Now I have a much higher probability of meeting the woman that will be the mother to my children. I think these are all really positive things. Now I'm running towards making way more money. Now I make almost 5 times more money than I did 5.5 or 6 years ago as a 29-year-old versus a 24-year-old. And like, these are all really great, right? But it was hard for me a lot of the times on the journey to connect with the positive. And I just got really good at it. at taking a sniff of the hate jar and the negativity jar and converting that negative energy into action. So if you have a lot of negativity in your life, recognize that what I did was I just converted negativity into positive action. But in doing that, and in relying on negative energy and negative thoughts, and then using those negative thoughts to make yourself do something, you become accustomed to it. And it's tough sometimes to stop doing that. So as much as you hear anyone like me or anyone else online that, telling you that they have the 100% solution, anytime you hear anybody saying that, it's just not the fucking truth. There is no one size fits all, right? There is no one size fits all mentality. But if you have this sort of relationship with food, this sort of life that you weren't happy with yourself that I did, consider taking that negative energy and moving it into positive action. To go back to what I just said, you should be questioning every single thing you hear on the internet. Every single thing. Question the things that you hear from me, even though we've built up so much trust over 35 episodes, right? Continue to question. Never take anything that anybody says is completely true or completely law, because we're all really different people, right? And here I am just opening up about the things that I struggle with today. And a lot of it is because of the way that I lost weight. And there are things that I would do different. One thing that I would do really differently is become a lot more clear on, I talk about this all the time, on why I wanted to lose weight in a way that was positive. So in my program, the people that are in my community, the program inside of the community, the first week, everybody goes through, why do you want to lose weight? And then they answer the question, what are you running away from? And then they answer the question, what are you running towards? And it's interesting to observe, almost everyone knows exactly what they're running away from, but it takes people longer to figure out what they're running towards. And that's because we are just wired for fear brain, right? It's the fear. My biggest struggle is that I sometimes still operate from fear. I sometimes still operate from, I don't know what, in 8 months, I've grown my Instagram page from 0 to 192 or 193,000 or something. I don't know. I'd have to look. And viewership has been down for the last month. Viewership is down because the Instagram algorithm just does that to people. And then it comes back. But somewhere in the back of my mind, it's like, I have a fear, right? There's a little voice in the back of my mind that, what if I just had this crazy 8-month run and all this was just gonna be gone? And everything that I built, well, I got it. The way that I'm gonna beat that is by more action, more posts, more quality posts, by continuing to work with the people in my community and make sure that they feel supported on their journey. Make sure that they lose weight so that there's no way that I can fail. So that there's no way that the legacy and the positive impact that I crave to have on the world gets taken away from me, because this is what I love and this is what I want. That's positive, right? But what I'm doing is converting the fear into positivity. And that's positive for you as a listener, right? And it's positive for me in some ways because now I'm beating some of that negativity out of me, but my brain is still wired to operate from negativity first. Though that benefits everyone, it doesn't always benefit me. And I feel that the most when my subconscious mind takes over. So when things are really quiet, when I'm meditating or when I'm just looking at myself in the mirror or when I'm sleeping, right? That's when a lot of the, come on, man, you can do it, don't be a wuss. You got to prove, and a lot of that provingness comes from so much. This proving attitude. I'm going to lose weight so that my ex knows that she fucking missed out. I'm going to lose weight so I can become someone. And I'm going to become someone. And then my dad, who I haven't talked to since I was 14 or 15, he's going to look me up one day and he's going to think, what in the fuck happened? And he didn't even need me, right? I'm going to make sure that he knows that I didn't need him. And it's just like this constant, like it's me working through my trauma, but all of my trauma is still there. So it's not that I'm even working through it. It's that I'm still burning a lot of these negative fuel sources, right? And people do this forever. Professional athletes do this forever. People that are wildly successful do this forever. It's not that this is good or bad, right or wrong. It's that you need to understand that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Is weight loss going to make you happy? I don't know. It's going to make you happier probably because you're going to feel more capable and you're going to believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself, you start believing in your ability to do other things, and then you start seeing more success in life. But sometimes when you start seeing success, you start thinking that all of the solution is on the other side of the thing that you're trying to solve. The reality is that when I started going, okay, I'm going to lose a bunch of weight because fuck my ex-girlfriend, even though it's hilarious how often I'm talking about this recently, but it's just really was my motivator in 2019 to start figuring this out, right? It put me in a situation, let's go back to the dating thing. It puts me in a situation where I go, okay, now I get to have this great dating life because I feel better about myself and I look better and I present better. But in doing that, now there's a whole nother slew of problems, right? Like I don't have the skill set as a 24, 25-year-old now that has never really dated women that I was really into or felt like I deserved. So now I got to build this skill. So now I'm just losing weight again, but in a different way. But I thought I was going to be happy and have it all figured out after I lost weight. Well, now I'm happier, but now I just have another problem, right? So the problems just keep building. So then in December, I launched this podcast of last year, 8 or 9 months ago. And then I started posting on Instagram in January, right? 7 or 8 months ago of 2024, earlier this year. And I think, oh, well, like I'm going to feel really good and my life is going to be better after I start posting. And then you start posting. And then we just had a ton of virality, right? And grew really, really, really fast. And then you get to 100,000 followers. And at this, when you start on social media, you think that the follower count is what it's all about. It's actually not the truth. It's about the impact, right? And I always knew that, but it's easy to get sucked into what virality feels like. And when it's taken away, even just for a month, now you have the same, you start seeing, right? When you feel the high of something and then the high gets taken away, you start seeing where your mindset was unhealthy. It's just like going through a breakup. You have a happy relationship, things go sideways, and then you start seeing, oh, well, there was actually these problems with the way that I was operating or the way that I was thinking, though that relationship was beneficial to my, it's all exactly the same. And that's why I say that weight loss is the ultimate teacher and the ultimate form of self-improvement, because even though you can see the negativity when you are obese, you see how much you want it to change. You see how much it can suck, right? I now look back on my own story and go, yeah, that was really a negative experience, but I learned a lot just converting the negativity into positivity constantly. It's this constant cycle that doesn't always feel good. It just doesn't always feel good. And today people are so caught up on how they feel. It's so much, how do I feel? I want to feel, right? Yeah, I want to be happy. And when I really actually write out my priorities, we're talking about happiness and feeling good, right? When I actually put my 5 priorities on a whiteboard, happiness isn't even one of them. It's legacy, positive. When I wake up every single morning, I say my morning mantra, and it's all about legacy. I desire a big life. I desire positive impact and influence. I desire legacy, to be remembered as someone who didn't quit, someone who always told the truth. And then I say, I desire true locational and financial freedom. Everything I desire is already inside of me. And I've only been saying that for about 2 months. The reason why I add that on the end, everything I desire is already inside of me, is because I'm rewiring my brain to recognize that I already have everything that I really desire. It's right here. And what it does is it helps me become more present, and it helps me stop pushing my own joy, my own positivity on the other side of achieving. It's the climb, right? You hear people say, it's the climb. That's a Miley Cyrus lyric. It's the climb. It actually is. But it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's the destination. It actually is the climb. And I just have never, of course we've heard people say that, but to actually practice that, to step into practicing, how can I live better on the journey? How can I feel less stressed on the journey of bettering myself, of losing weight, of being in a relationship, of growing a business, of having positive impact, of figuring out how I'm going to move internationally if that's something I decide I want to do? How can you find joy in the actual present moment? Because if you don't, all that happens is you just keep you will have problems forever. The problems never go away. And when you start thinking that you're going to feel better on the other side of, you end up realizing that it's not true all the time, because the problems never go away. Yes, I feel better than I did when I was fat as fuck. Yes. But I thought that there weren't going to be any problems. Now I just have a full, I have so many more problems. Problems isn't that I don't like. So much of this comes down to language, right? If you say you have a problem, then you do have a problem. If you say I'm working through this thing and it's so expansive to me and I'm learning so much and I'm so grateful, then it's not a problem. So like this is where I'm at spiritually. This is where I'm at in terms of my own self-improvement, right? You even hear me on this podcast saying, well, now I have a problem. But it's not actually a problem. Even if it is a problem, you looking at your own problems as problems is counterproductive. You looking at a problem as an opportunity for you to learn something and grow in a specific domain is productive. And maybe they're both true. Maybe only one or the other is true. But what can you do? And I'm talking to myself here. What can you do to practice only believing in things that benefit you? So I've got 3 whiteboards up in my living room. And they all have a bunch of things written on them. But the one that I see right when I walk out of my room. So I wake up in the morning, I stretch for 3 minutes, go to the bathroom, chug some water, brush my teeth. Sometimes I take a quick shower, depending on what I'm doing for the day, versus nighttime showering. Sometimes I shower twice a day. Sometimes 3 times when it's sweaty and humid here in Austin, Texas. I will walk out and I see this board, and it says, I operate from love. Now, when I first see the board, I go, I fucking got, like, the positivity. Get the positivity out of my face, right? Like, what the fuck is this? And then I go, I operate from love. And I just say it, I operate from love. I'm light. I operate from love. I don't have to be so intense all the time. I operate from love. And I just say it a couple times. Say it. And then I just make myself smile. I've been doing this for maybe 5 or 6 weeks. I just make myself smile. And in making myself smile, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. I'm doing it right now, right? This podcast isn't on video, so you can't see me. It makes me laugh. And it actually lightens my mood in a way that feels so good. It's almost like an element of euphoria. Maybe you can actually hear the change in the tonality of my voice since I said that versus before, right? It's a little lighter. And so much of my own intensity and so much of my own everything's so serious. The reason why is because that's what worked for me. It's because that's what worked for me. And the toughest pill for me to swallow, one of the things that I've struggled with the most recently, that I'm not going to name as a problem now, I'm naming it as an opportunity for me to learn, expand, grow, and become a better human being, is just recognizing that not everything has to be so heavy. Not everything has to be such a big deal. Weight loss doesn't have to be. For me, it had to be, but it might not have to be for you. This like dreadful fucking intense thing where everything you ever wanted is just there. You just got to get to 199. You just got to get to 80 kilos. You just like whatever it is. Like that's not real. It's not real. And in hindsight, I look back and I go, man, I didn't let myself feel it. It makes the hair, oh my God, it makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck, on my arms. I didn't let myself feel the joy that I really actually deserve to feel on the journey. Whenever I started feeling joy, I went, no, we got it. This has got to suck. This is going to be a suffering experience. I have this great story built on how I turned negativity into positivity. It's like, oh my God. And I just sat down and taken a fucking breath and walked outside and said, put my arms out, looked up at the sun and said, it's fine. You're losing weight and it's fine and it feels good. You can just smile. Like it doesn't have to be this depressing fucking thing. A quote that really, really made me start thinking about this a few months ago is someone said to me, it's not a quote, someone said this to me, I don't know who said it initially. If you want to feel light, you have to be the light. If you want to feel joy, you have to be joy. If you want to feel happy, you have to be happy. And this brings me back to what I was saying earlier. At the same time, that is all true. The idea of your goal being to be happy just probably doesn't make sense for most people, because it seems like the more that you focus on trying to be happy, the less happy you actually are, right? When you write out all your priorities, like I would rather have legacy than be happy. I would rather have positive impact than be happy. It's not that I can't have both. It's just if I had to order them, that feels more important to me. When you look back on whoever your favorite person is in history, like take a second, really think about your favorite person ever in history. Have you ever thought about how they felt, or were they happy? Have you ever gone, I wonder if they were happy? Like, no, right? And that's because most people just don't really care, right? And that's like this really brutal way of looking at the world. But here we are stepping back into the negative side of my own psyche that has led to positive impact, right? It's like, people don't really care. People ask, when is the last time that anyone that was not immediately close to you seemed really concerned about your own happiness? It's like this it's kind of depressing, but I just don't think that people really care that much about people. Let me reframe this. People care more about what you do than how you feel. People care more about how you make them feel than how you feel yourself. You might even care more if you're a parent about how your child makes you feel as a parent without thinking about it than you do internally what your child is feeling. When you recognize like there is actually selfishness in everything, which is fine. There's selfishness in giving. There's selfishness in donating. You give the homeless guy $1. Is it because, God, I hope he's okay? Or is it because, it just feels kind of good to give him $1, right? Like when you really come back to what we all really want is positive feeling. We want to be a good parent because it feels good to be a good parent. We want to be a good partner because, oh my God, it's like, it feels so good to be a good partner. We want to have positive impact on the world because how rewarding is it when someone in my community says that they lost 13 pounds in 1 month and they've never felt so good about how sustainable their results are? Like, there is selfishness in that for me because it feels fucking amazing. Of course, I'm also happy that that person is having those results and that other people are having positive results, but there is a selfishness to it. And that's not bad. That's not bad. But people do care more most of the time, not always, right? I speak in absolutes. It's my greatest strength and my greatest weakness. People do care more about how you make them feel and what you do than how you might be feeling internally. And I have found that the best positive feeling for me comes when I stop focusing on how I'm feeling all the time. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't ever pay attention to it, but waking up and going, I want to be happy today. It's like sometimes it feels like happiness is wanting to be happy is what got me chasing short-term pleasure. Wanting me to be happy is what got me so fucking fat. Like craving to give me the happiness is what led me to just playing video games, smoking weed, and like jerking off and whatever the fuck else I was doing in my younger 20s, you know? And it's like, I feel better now that I don't focus on it as much. I'm focusing on being light. I'm focusing on letting myself feel whatever feels real, not forcing a feeling, but recognizing that when you do smile, it actually does make the positive feeling real. And when you do feel more positive, you do become a bit of the light. And it is contagious. And that's why we appeal to people that have positive energy. Like, joy is contagious. Happiness is contagious. It's just not my number one priority, but it is something that I am putting more focus on now than I ever have. And the reason why I didn't let myself, to bring it back to how we started this whole conversation, is because I always thought that to feel good, I had to accomplish. It was on the other side. But I'm recognizing that feeling good can actually be a part of the journey and might actually help you on your journey. Should you just let yourself feel good instead of denying the feeling? If you made it to the end of the podcast, this is a bit of a different episode. And I hope that a takeaway for you here is that, like, it's not all sunshine and rainbows after you lose weight. I fucking love what I do. I will never stop podcasting. If a law just came out that said you cannot talk about losing weight online ever again, otherwise you're put in jail, I would still be podcasting just about something else. I don't know what I'd be talking about, but I love the idea of relating to people, and I love the idea of just sharing stories and talking. Clearly, I love talking. It's been 30 minutes of me just ranting at you, right? But I really challenge you between this episode and next episode next week. Let yourself feel a little more light. What would it feel like to you if things were a little more light? If you woke up in the morning and just said, I operate from a place of love. I'm going to try to be light today. I'm going to say hi to 2 strangers today. Like, what would that look like? And what would that feel like? Close your eyes and really visualize what would that feel like. And the person that you want to be, the skinny, fit, healthy person that you want to be, they probably are a little lighter, right? They might be a little lighter. They might be a little more willing to go say hi to some person and just smile and say, hey, I really like those shoes. Like, whatever that looks like, right? And that energy is just so contagious. We need more of that in the world. We do need some more positivity in the world. That doesn't mean you can't burn some negative fuel, but recognize that there is a negative side effect to burning negative fuel. It's that when you do it for long enough, in my case, I've been doing it for a really long time, and I'm doing it less the last few months than I have before, or trying to, just a little less so that I can learn. But this idea that you have to be the same person forever, it isn't real. That's the toughest lesson. And the greatest lesson. Tough isn't the right word. You don't have to be the same person forever. You can actually change. What I'm talking to you about is the next evolution of myself, right? I went from fat to skinny to fat to skinny to fat to skinny to fat to skinny to ultramarathon runner to now I got to get a heart surgery for something totally unrelated to I don't know what I'm going to do. So well, now I got to figure out how to eat healthier foods. And that was like a 5 or 6 year process that led me to where I am, right? And it's all just evolution, evolution, evolution. So what's the next evolution? The next evolution is I desire to be a little more light. I desire to feel just a little bit more joy without it being my sole focus and just a little bit more happiness. And even if I never feel an ounce of either of those things, I still love what I do and I'll still never quit. But it would be nice to feel some more of that. And I'm going to give myself permission, and I have been giving myself permission to feel those positive feelings and to practice operating more from a place of love and positivity versus fear and negativity. So we're going to talk more about this next week. I challenge you to try to be a little lighter than you might have been the week before and see what that does. See how that impacts what you do day to day. If you made it to the end of the podcast episode again, please leave us an honest review. Anywhere from 1 to 5 stars. I'm on Spotify or Apple or any platform that you're on. It just helps these messages get out to other people. It's the best thing that you can do to support my content and to support me as a creator. And it just makes me feel really good, which is the topic of today's podcast episode. Hope everyone has a great week, and we'll see you next week.